What's going on, guys? Unknown Player here, and today we've got a bunch more Destiny 2 stuff to discuss. We're actually going to be talking about Grimoire cards today. For some reason, that's popped up today. Also, the absolute best way to farm a ton of tokens in the new faction event, thankfully, is actually a super easy way to get a bunch of tokens. So I'll be showing you guys that as well. And also some other random bits of news that have popped up recently. So as usual, a ton of stuff to cover in this one video. Don't forget to leave a like rating down below if you enjoy it, and let's get into it. So the first very strange thing is something that popped up today, which is the topic of Grimoire cards in Destiny 2. So the reason it's been a hot topic today is because someone called Ryan K, who is Bungie's lead visual designer, he actually tweets out this image with the caption F021918, not sure what that stands for or means, but pretty much when the entire internet saw this, everyone's minds instantly went to Grimoire cards. Now you can understand why everyone thinks that. If I put an image on screen now of a Destiny 1 Grimoire card, you can see they're pretty much identical, and again, the guy that tweeted this is a Bungie lead designer, and this probably is what a Destiny 2 Grimoire card would look like. You've also got the sword down the middle, so it does kind of look like Rumble or maybe the Vault of Glass in the background as well. Now someone actually asked him on Twitter, is this for Destiny 2 or just some personal art? Reminds me of the Grimoire cover art, and Ryan responded saying this is just personal art. So I guess that kind of confirms it isn't really going to be the Destiny 2 Grimoire cards. I mean, to be honest, if this was something new for Destiny 2, he probably wouldn't be allowed to tweet this, and he probably would have deleted it by now. So it does seem like this probably isn't an actual Grimoire card directly for Destiny 2, and is most likely just something he's worked on. Now this does actually tie into things that Chris Barrett has said a while back on Twitter. He did stress how Grimoire is definitely very important to them. They want to put more of it inside the game. To be honest, I wouldn't be that surprised if Bungie are actually working on some kind of Grimoire card for the September expansion. Again, like Chris said, they want to put it inside the game and not just on a website like Bungie.net. So yeah, just wanted to mention that. Pretty interesting topic. A ton of you guys have asked me, is this Grimoire cards? What does this mean? Does the icon mean anything? Leave your thoughts down below in the comments. Would you like to see Grimoire cards return even if they were on the website? Would you only want to see them inside the game? But there you have it, a topic that got a lot of attention today, and hopefully that cleared up for you guys. So moving on, let's talk about Faction Rally. So of course it started today with a brand new event, the second of Season 2. There actually is some loot to get this time, not just a sidearm, so it's somewhat worth doing now. But unlike the first event last month, there's actually a super good way to get a bunch of tokens. Last time you pretty much had to play the game to do public events, but it was very, very slow and kind of tedious, to be honest. Obviously before that, there was the massive token farm where you could just get ridiculous amounts. And this method I'm going to show you is pretty much in the middle. It's definitely significantly better than last month, but it's not as crazy as like, what was it, 500 in an hour or something like that. So of course, what you need to do is go over to Titan, where I'm at right now. I think this is called the rig area. Yes, the rig. So yeah, spawn in right over here, and then you want to head over to pretty much the same spot as I think it was the first ever faction rally, and it's going to be this lost sector all the way down here. So you might remember I showed off this method back when the first faction rally came out, and you would shoot all those explosive things, but this time you're doing something a bit different. Basically whip out the Watercliff coil, shoot this boss, this poor ogre dude. Then you want to head over to the chest. I'm only getting tokens because people do an event above me. The chest is going to give you 3 tokens. You shoot this thing, and then shoot this thing, you die, and then when you respawn, you'll be outside this door. It should happen every time. Pretty much do the exact same thing that I'm doing, because it is very strange. I'm not sure what causes these spawn mechanics to spawn you in certain places, but try and do pretty much exactly what I'm doing in this run right here. Watercliff coil is definitely the best choice here, because it does the most damage per heavy ammo brick. You kill this dude, he gives you a brick every time, sometimes 2, and then you can go over, get the chest, get you 3 tokens, and then if there's a thing there, you get one over here. Shoot this thing, you die, and again, you respawn at the top. And you should always use the Watercliff coil. No other weapon is going to do the trick, to be honest. You shoot this thing, if you're weak, it'll kill you. If you're not, you just shoot that explosive there, and it will kill you. And there's no longer any kind of lockout, so there's no limit on how many times you can loot lost sectors. As long as you kill the boss, the chest is always going to give you 3 tokens, and also gives you about 400 glimmer per one. So you do actually, as a byproduct, get quite a lot of glimmer, so you can actually farm that if you really want it. You do also rack up a ton of blue, so be prepared for that. But honestly, I really like the fact there is a farm. I'm just glad there's a way to just get tokens faster. I think it's good that you can get tokens by playing the game, but I think it's also a lot better to have a way to just grind a ton if you want to. Like, not everyone has a ton of time, and not everyone wants to just sink days and days to get like a couple of engrams for these factions. So I like there's an option to just speed through if you want to grind a bunch of tokens. Obviously, it isn't the most enjoyable way to play Destiny, and that's why Bungie doesn't really want you farming, because they'd rather you play the game in a normal fashion and not just shoot barrels like I'm doing right here. But like I said, I'm sure a ton of you have busy lives, you got stuff to do. You don't want to be sitting here doing public events to get like 50 tokens after an hour. It's really not efficient. This way you should be able to get, I believe, around 200 tokens. Haven't really calculated it fully, but I seem to get around 200 after about an hour of play. Depends how efficient you are, but as you can see, I can basically do this forever. I'm never running out of ammo. Every time he drops at least 1 brick, sometimes 2 if he's nice. And if it's not spawning you out here, if it's not spawning you correctly, then always make sure you're not killing loads of enemies or wandering around too much or dying in the wrong spot. Just try to die in the exact same place. Just try to follow the exact route that I'm doing. Hop in this crate, pop this guy in the face, put a couple bullets in, get your ammo brick, get your chest. Like I said, if the thing's not there, then it should be right here. blow that up, and you should die pretty much every time. If not, the knights will help you out. They're pretty nice. And that should be everything you need to know about this farming method. I believe Nightfalls have a chance to give you up to 18 tokens at a max, but obviously they take like half an hour to do. Public events are pretty much the second best way to just generally farm, and you can obviously do your milestones and get exotics while you're doing that stuff. There's also those enemies that try and capture the supplies, which you can do as well. They take like maybe 10 minutes and get you, I think, 8 tokens. So I'm currently on 231 tokens. I've been doing it probably in total like an hour, I'd say, today. Obviously, I did it quite a bit before I recorded this, but it's by far way more efficient than anything else you can do in the game. Now, there is also the daily milestone for faction rally, so each day is going to give you a new thing to do. 15 tokens once you complete it. And obviously, that's the only time you're going to get tokens for destroying those things. It's not like the first faction rally where that was the main source of getting them. Now, on top of that, there are also some secret scannables inside certain lost sectors. These aren't in every single lost sector, but some of them per planet have these weird scannables over here, which you can see, and they give you tokens as well. I remember showing a bunch of them on IO a while ago, but they're very strange. It's something not a lot of people know about, but there are those kind of secret scannables, which are very tucked away in specific lost sectors. There are a few of them on each planet, and they give you a bunch of tokens as pretty much one-time things. So moving on, an update to something I talked about, I believe, last month. I mentioned how Bungie are looking to hire a new community manager, and they announced today that DMG04, who was kind of an acting community manager, is now the official one. So technically speaking, right now, both DMG04 and Cosmo are the two community managers. Deej is still sort of a community manager, but obviously he does a lot more stuff behind the scenes. And obviously, if you're looking to talk to someone at Bungie, that is literally a community manager's job. So definitely something worth knowing about. So we've got 263 new Monarchy tokens. Let's see if we can get any of the new stuff. There should be two. Well, you got that, the auto rifle that came last time, and also the scout rifle, I believe. Oh yeah, and I forgot you can also get masterwork weapons. I didn't actually have the gauntlet, so I did actually need those. 2 masterworks in a row. And there's also a very, very small chance that exotic drops from these too. Oh yeah, the Sparrow. I forgot about that as well. That's also a new thing. You got the new shader, another masterwork, another masterwork. Damn, no scout rifle. What was that? 200 tokens? I mean, probably the best thing was all these masterwork things we got. 2 cores from that, 2 cores from that, pretty good. 1 core from that one, 1 core from that one. This is probably the best sniper in the entire game for Crucible. Even though snipers are pretty trash at the moment, this is definitely the best one. So you got a short range scope, you got a better stability and reload speed, and also snapshot for super fast aim down sight. But the main thing about this one is that when you move side to side, the reticle doesn't bounce and kind of move all the time, which is really annoying. So yeah, the Maxim 11, definitely grab this if you don't have it. And this is the new Maliki Sparrow. Looks okay, nothing special. Is it going to give me bright dust if I dismantle this? Please tell me it does. Of course it doesn't. Why would it? Why would anything in this game give you bright dust? I'm not gonna lie, the Future War Cult shader is actually pretty nice this time around. For once in Destiny history, it doesn't make it look like a clown. I always thought it just looks super weird, but I think thankfully they've realized how it just doesn't compete to the black and white of Dead Orbit or the red and gold of New Monarchy. Maybe you guys like it, let me know down below in the comments, but I've always thought it was super ugly personally. This time actually it's pretty good. Also, Future War Cult have never won a single faction rally yet. It's always been a Dead Orbit and then New Monarchy. So technically, these guys are not doing too well. Now, in terms of the new weapons and new loot rewards up for grabs this time, there's actually some pretty decent stuff. Again, nothing fantastic. They're all basically reskins of existing weapons already have. So the only thing different are the weapon rolls. They've got different perks in them, obviously. And they look a bit different, but I guess with a shader, it doesn't really matter. So for Future War Cult, the 2 weapons inside the loot pools are the Doubt auto rifle. This was a winning weapon last time, but obviously didn't get picked. Now, this thing's actually very good. It's in the adaptive archetype. It's got high caliber rounds and also snapshot. So it's basically an all-round, just solid, reliable auto rifle. Definitely very good in my opinion. The other weapon inside the Future War Cult loot pool is the hand cannon, the Defiant. It's Omlon, so it's pretty trash to be honest. Unless they buffed them, it's not really worth going for. And the winning weapon is called the Dream. It's a high impact scout rifle. So again, also not the best archetype right now. Now, moving on to New Monarchy. The 2 weapons inside the loot pool is firstly the Lockwater, which is the auto rifle I just got. So honestly, this weapon is really bad on console. On PC, it's actually amazing. This weapon is genuinely fantastic on PC simply because of the recoil. But on console, this thing kicks way too much. So don't bother. On PC though, this thing is actually amazing. The other weapon is the Adverse Possession, a scout rifle, and it is a pretty solid scout. It's got steady rounds and moving target in the precision archetype, so definitely a decent weapon as well. The winning New Monarchy weapon is the Legal Action 2. This one looks pretty interesting, but I'm not sure if it's going to be decent. It is hacker, so you never really know how they're going to turn out, but it's got high cal and also rampage, which could be decent, but time will tell. If New Monarchy win again, then I'll definitely look to try this thing out. And then finally, we have Dead Orbit, which probably have the worst weapons, to be completely honest. The 2 weapons inside the loot pool is the Hollow Earth auto rifle. This thing is the same as the Perseverance, the Valakaden, I believe, but Zen Moment is pretty decent. So out of these Vice autos, is probably one of the best ones. The second weapon inside the loot pool is the Eternal Slumber Pulse Rifle. It's in the adaptive frame and it's got steady rounds and under pressure, so definitely not a highlight. And the winning weapon for Dead Orbit is the Dead Ender, a linear fusion rifle, and this one has Outlaw, so it's pretty much the only thing you can say about this weapon. But those are all the faction guns and the perk rolls on the weapons. Let me know down below if you got any and your thoughts on them. I'm pretty much only doing faction rally for the shaders and the masterwork cores, so that's basically basically my incentive. The weapons just aren't too fantastic. So yeah, I think that just about does it for this video. As always, if you enjoyed it and want to support the channel, then a like rating down below would be much appreciated. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere. Any news or updates or new stuff with Destiny worth talking about, I'm going to make videos for it. So if you want to stay up to date and not miss out my videos, then make sure you are subscribed down below with notifications turned on. I actually made a Fortnite video, which was me basically getting carried to my very first victory. It was a ton of fun to record and you guys really loved it. So if you missed that video, if you want to see me playing Fortnite for the first time, you can click the image on screen right now to be taken to that video. But as always, I appreciate you guys watching and I'll see you guys next one.